Hi, my name is Rick Howell. I'm a TV guy, and this show is called Talk Back to Television. It's about the business of television, how we make the programs, how we distribute the programs, and mostly how we pay for the programs. Because if we can't pay for the shows, there's nothing to watch. Stay tuned. Hi, this is Talk Back to Television, and I'm here with one of my favorites, Daniel Kline, who is editor-at-large at the Arena Group, and now he's going to tell us what that means, because I had no idea. What do you do, dude?
I had no idea either. So I used to be managing editor of The Street, but now my job is to come up with ways to tie together all of the things we run or own. Sports Illustrated, Men's Journal, Parade. So that might be as simple as like, hey, the holidays are coming up. Like what is each group doing and linking between? Or as complicated as I'm working on a television show idea that would have a digital component on Parade. I'm working on a business and sports thing with Sports Illustrated that will have content on The Street. So we're a pretty big company. We have a pretty far reach. And my job is to be one of the people who think about how can these things complement each other beyond just the technology platform. I still write a lot for The Street, but my bylines appeared in an awful lot of places in the last 6 months.
All right, so now you are technically in the same class as Bob Iger. So here's my question for you. We all talk about what can Bob Iger do. I think more the important question is, what must Bob Iger do? What must he do, Dan?
So I think no solution shouldn't be on the table. We talked about this a little before the show. If I'm Bob Iger, I have all this content people want, and no one knows how it's supposed to be delivered. So I'd be trying premium tiers. I would be trying things like they've done a little bit with the recent Nick Fury Secret Invasion show of like, yeah, it's on Hulu, maybe air it on ABC, maybe go back to trying some of these, like the movies in theaters, I can pay premium prices, because you're not going to quickly sell ABC. I'm also not so sure that's the asset you want to sell when the only thing standing might be premium cable and the broadcast networks, because I do think we're pretty close to bottom of cord cutting. We're having this backlash of like, wait a minute, like I can't get these things. So if I'm Bob Iger, I know I have the best IP. I would actually take Disney versus the field when it comes to IP in terms of how much they have that people want. But like, they're making mistakes. They should have known Indiana Jones isn't a movie theater property anymore. They could have made that a prestige event. They could have cut it into 6 half-hour television shows. They could have sold it to old guys like us for $30 3 months before it comes out elsewhere. I'm actually not a huge Indiana Jones fan.
Yeah,
but even the Pixar movies, they could find ways to make a 1 or 2 week theatrical experience around school vacations. But aside from school vacations, it's going to take an event movie. And the reality is the movie theater business is over. So if you're Bob Iger, yes, you need to monetize some assets because you need cash. Yes, you need to make some cuts. But here's the reality. If everything except the next Avengers movie is a TV series, your production costs go down. They get amortized over more time. And more importantly, your marketing costs don't go away. But basically, when you shoot a big budget movie, you spend as much marketing, and you take the whatever the number is, 20 to 35% the theaters take, depending on where you are in the theatrical run. You can make this better. You can make this work, because here's the thing. The Mandalorian has shown we're going to watch the new Star Wars content. And we're going to, like, your kid's still going to watch Cars 100 times, no matter what, no matter what you think about Disney. They're still going to go to the theme parks. Like, my boss sent me to Disney World the other day and said, like, do a story on whether it's actually, like, because I go to Disney World all the time, tell me if it's really empty. And the reality is, no, Disney World's incredibly crowded. It just had a bad 4th of July because it was really hot and airfare was high. Yeah. So Bob Iger, I'm really glad they extended his contract. I really thought they were going to make the same dumb Disney mistake. I think who takes over is a real issue. I mean, they brought some executives back in a consulting capacity. I don't know that there's a real answer there. But if anyone's going to figure this out, I think it's going to be Iger. But I do think he has to try some things he hasn't been willing to try, or at least hasn't been willing to commit to.
I completely agree with that. All right. I am going to put in a plug for the thing that I've been the drum I've been beating, which is that there are a few people in this business who know how to sell subscription television the way the folks at Comcast do. To a lesser extent, Charter, but a lot of them are Comcast folks anyway. And if Disney has this really squirrely deal with Hulu, where Comcast can pick up a third of it for about a third of what it's worth. No, sell a third of it to Disney for a third of it. Anyway, fact of the matter is Comcast should be buying Hulu. They should be plugging in Paramount Plus and Warner Brothers and Disco and whatever all that stuff is. I don't even remember all the channels they have. And of course, Peacock, and then put Disney Plus into that bundle and do what Comcast knows how to do, which is sell and maintain a bundle of subscription services.
I think that speaks to a word you're going to hear a lot in the next few years: consolidation.
Well, absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
here's the reality. Do you remember when they were running the Super Bowl ads for Paramount Plus, and
Yes.
literally like SpongeBob and Snooki were in them? That is basic, and you see the same thing when you go to Universal Studios. If you watch like the parade at Universal Studios, as a almost 50-year-old man, by the end I'm like, okay, Secret Life of Pets, like that's kind of a big. And then at the end you're like, who are these characters? Because they don't have enough good IP.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to see these things consolidate. And I look at what happened with WWE Network, and I think what will happen with the other wrestling group, AEW and Time Warner. These are going to become reasons to get you to subscribe. So I like, I'd really like to see Disney and Apple hook up, because I think the content matches really well. Yeah, I think Foundation, and on an adult level, some of the cartoons, Invincible, fits really well with what Disney is doing. And both of them have pretty messed up apps in terms of delivery, and could help each other out. I think what Apple's doing with sports, and what Disney could do with sports if they chose to, we're seeing it now with TV a little bit, that you don't necessarily need the NBA. It might be okay to have, Italian soccer or other things that just bring their 400,000 people. Yeah. Comcast's biggest purchase has probably been the Premier League, in terms of actually bringing new people to the table. I think Disney has to get very creative with its partners, because we don't need 6 or 7 multi-purpose streaming services.
I get that. All right. Well, guess what? We have run out of time, but as always, Bud, that's fascinating stuff. And you have a unique, you see everything, and also you talk about everything. So that's, and people believe you. Unlike me, I just kind of yap in the background. But
well, I don't get to talk about things that much anymore, so I appreciate it.
All right. I'm going to sign off, and we'll see everybody on the next Talk Back to Television.